Familial Dysautonomia, or Riley syndrome, by Anastasia Taras. FD is a rare genetic neurological condition that affects the sensory and autonomic nervous systems, which regulate involuntary actions, like breathing or heart rate, causing severe gastrointestinal, cardiac, pulmonary, orthopedic, renal, and ophthalmologic problems. Familial dysautonomia symptoms can lead to breath-holding spells, which can lead to loss of consciousness, constipation, decreased taste, diarrhea, dry eyes, feeding difficulties, inability to feel pain, and changes in temperature, which can of course lead to injuries, lack of tears when emotional crying, long episodes of vomiting, poor coordination, which is like unsteady walking, poor growth, repeated fevers, repeated ammonia, seizures, skin blotching, sweating while eating, unusually smooth pale tongue surface, and these symptoms are present at birth and grow worse over time. The disorder is inherited through a gene called the IKB-cap gene, which encodes for a protein, an enzyme in particular, on chromosome 9. They must inherit a defective mutated copy from each parent to obtain the disorder. Inheritors are expected to live up to age 40, which seems like a short lifespan, but is actually much longer than before, thanks to research in medicine and treatment. Some interesting facts about familial dysautonomia include that in 1970, a child diagnosed with FD had only a 50% chance of surviving beyond 5 years. Today, a child with FD has a 50% chance of surviving more than 40 years. Secondly, the FD gene, which causes familial dysautonomia, was only recently discovered in 2001. Moreover, supportive therapies include medications to maintain and regulate cardiovascular, respiratory, and gastrointestinal function. Various therapies are used to promote strength and speech development. Furthermore, surgical interventions include fundoplication, prevention of reflux disease, gastrostomy, which is placing feeding tubes into the stomach, spinal fusion, and tear duct cautery, which is a procedure to keep your tears from coming out too quickly. Finally, researchers believe that the elongator complex, a protein chain the ICAP protein is part of, is important for the transcription of proteins that affect the cell's structural framework, the cytoskeleton, and cell movement, motility. Crucial for growth and development of cells, the cytoskeleton plays a critical role in the growth of nerve cells, particularly the specialized extensions called axons and dendrites that are required for the transmission of nerve impulses. Also, cell motility is crucial for the movement of nerve cells to their proper locations in the brain. Thus, we can see why neurological problems are key areas in FD and its symptoms. Riley syndrome is named after the doctors who had discovered them, both of their last names being Riley and Day, while its other common name, familial dysautonomia, is of French, familial, and Greek origin, dys meaning bad, autonomia meaning self-governing, of the nervous system in this case. There is 1 in a 300 carrier rate in the general populations compared to a 1 in 30 carrier rate in the Ashkenazi Jews. Clearly, this disorder is more common in this cultural group while it's somewhat rare in the general population. Common in the people of Eastern European Jewish ancestry, Ashkenazi Jews, 1 in 30 carry the gene. There's such a high rate among this culture group due to the founder effect, which is where there's a small number of individuals called founders of an original population. A defect will become amplified over time in this small population, and it's also caused by genetic drift, which is evolution whereby inheritance of a particular gene is enhanced at random chance. Therefore, the random action of genetic inheritance has a somewhat higher probability in Ashkenazi Jews than in a much larger population of allowing certain mutations to be more typical. That's why around 1 in 3,700 individuals have the disease. Moreover, some groups that support scientific research for a cure of FD and FD victims include the Dysautonomia Foundation Incorporation, the FD Hope Foundation, and the FD Now Foundation. Lastly, right now, the NYU FD Center, which is 1 out of 2 FD centers, is furthering a project to bring in carnitine, a kind of plant cytokine, a plant hormone that promotes cell division, that's able to correct the misplacing defect in patients with FD and act as a novel therapy.